Welcome into the Swarmcast here on the ESPN Houston YouTube channel. I am Joe George alongside Will Kunkel here to talk all things about the 0-2 Houston Texans. Today's show is brought to you by Blue Star Tequila, the world's first and only night harvested tequila. You can find it near you at plenty of bars and liquor stores at bluestartequila.com. 20-19, Will, there's a million things.
I don't think
we
have enough tequila for the show. I legitimately don't.
There's a million things to go through. I mean, the offensive line, CJ Stroud being 0-2, red zone, Caley, it's all there was very little good. What was the worst thing? Of all the bad, what was the worst thing for you in what you saw against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
So I think generally speaking, the worst thing is that we have to reevaluate everything. I think that's the worst thing. It's not like they're 1-1 or they're 0-2 and there's a lot of good out there. How much good was there? Seriously, with the defense, we said they were elite. We knew they were going to come out there. We knew they were going to be top 5. We knew that if the offense did their thing, they might be the best defense in the NFL. We don't know that now. Now, they played well enough to win. I want to say that the defense played well enough to win, but not top 5. The inability to tackle. Bucky Irving had 11 missed tackles himself.
He looked awesome.
It's inexcusable to have an elite defense not be able to tackle.
Yeah, Bucky Irving, what he was doing against the Texans defense is very concerning. The way he could run, because that's something that
Rashee White is the most concerning.
Oh yeah, when he came in,
did it.
Yeah, when he came in, because now you look at Travis Etienne have a really good season for the Jags. You got Jonathan Taylor, you got Derrick Henry coming up in your next 3 games. Those are 3 running backs that look like what they've done so far this season, what you've done against the running game the first 2 games. You're going to get torched. The defense, to me, I think it's unfair to say the defense lost them the game, even though they were on the field last. And they should have been able to get the stop on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. And they had opportunities to do so. They had missed tackles there and bad, angles on screens and things like that by Azeez Al-Shaair. But the offense for me is still the largest concern. And more specifically, it's the 3 red zone plays. And we'll dive back into the defense here in a second. But the 3 red zone plays, I mean...
The 3 1-yard line
Yeah,
plays.
the 1-yard plays,
right.
Yeah. Because the first one's fine. It gets you to the 1-yard line. But then everything around it goes wrong from a little bit of everyone. You have a running play in which you run Nick Chubb right at Vita Vea. It doesn't really make sense. It gets stuffed. Then
we can't go off the edge. Gee whiz.
Nico Collins is open. It was right in front of me. And he's open. It was right there. CJ just missed him. It had to be the perfect throw, so I don't love the play calls because it had to be so perfect.
You know what it needed to be? It needed to be a $60 million quarterback throw.
It did. I expect Joe Burrow to make that throw. I expect Patrick Mahomes,
the top
Justin
10
Herbert,
quarterbacks.
Lamar.
Baker Mayfield makes that throw. Mm-hmm. I had DJ Bieniemy on Kicking It with Kunkel, my show on YouTube, and I said, where is CJ? He said he is a franchise quarterback, no doubt. I said, is he top 10? He said, oh, yeah, for sure. I was like, so is he better than Goff and Baker? He said, absolutely. I don't know if he's singing a different tune. There is zero doubt who's better, Baker Mayfield or CJ Stroud. I mean, zero.
Yeah, what Baker Mayfield's done the first 2 weeks, the first quarterback in NFL history, I believe it is, to lead a comeback in back-to-back weeks with under 2:30 left to go in the game. Marching the Buccaneers down the field the way he did. So CJ misses that throw, which he should have made. Again, $60 million quarterback makes that throw. But then the next one I think I hate worse because, again, I think CJ could have made the throw, but what's up with the play design? You're rolling everything to the left.
Like
Who's going across his body?
A one-read throw I don't love.
Yeah.
The play calling, no play action, no read option, nothing. It's Nico or nothing, and then the ball's thrown out of bounds. So that's my problem, is that everything is the problem. It's a bad offense. It's not the bad offensive line. Yeah. It's not just CJ. Yeah, it's CJ. It's not the play calling. Yeah. It's all of it. Mm-hmm. It's a bad offense. And I said I thought they were going to be a good or at least a better offense. Suck less was my motto for them because we saw things in the preseason. We did. We didn't make it up. That's completely disappeared. Mm-hmm. Everything we saw in the preseason, outside of some hole making in the running game, now we can debate whether or not the Bucs let them score.
Yeah.
So, Bruce Arians on Pat McAfee's show said that had let them score all over it, which is a wild thing to think. I don't think it's true, only because the Texans' defense is not a joke. To think you're just going to drive down the field the way they did, there was some help. There was some 4th down conversions. There was pressure on Baker. It was hardly an easy drive.
Yeah, I was talking about it with Jeremy Brandon. We kind of came to the conclusion that we think that It was the safety was given instructions basically of if they run the ball and it gets to this level, let them go.
Okay.
Because at that point, it's like then they're going to burn the clock and it's going to end the game. But yeah, I mean, the offense is really, really concerning. And we'll get back to the defense.
And
but
the coaching from DeMeco as well is concerning. I don't like anything
they're undisciplined, and that's not getting any better.
Why are you not blitzing on the touchdown run to win the game?
Great question.
Why are you not calling timeouts with 25 seconds to save yourself some time?
Great question.
It seems ill-managed all the way around right now. And we knew DeMeco was a good head coach, or elite defensive coordinator. We knew that the defense was, and everything we knew was horse manure.
Good save.
It's just so frustrating.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, and the Texans are in a position to where now you have to win the next 2 football games.
You sure as hell better.
If you are 1-4 heading into the bye week, statistically, if you look back at the history of the NFL, it is a low percentage. I think it's 11% of teams make the playoffs after they start 0-2. The calculus is a little different now with the expanded playoffs, and you still are in the South where like I can't really buy into the Colts just yet and Daniel Jones. So like you started 0-2, CJ Stroud's rookie year, and you won the division. So like it is possible, but it doesn't feel good in any way. Like there's nothing about the Houston Texans that feels inspiring, that gives you confidence. And I don't really understand how the head coach is meeting with the media and telling people they're close.
There's so much to take in there. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah. There's a million things.
I agree with you that the season's not over.
Yeah.
So like but the adjustment, the expectations have changed. We said 2 home games in the playoffs, wild card, divisional round, maybe the AFC Championship game. Well, that's out. Like, forget about that.
Yeah.
It's now the goal is to get to the playoffs. The goal is to win the AFC South, and that's still possible because it's a bad division. If this was a good division, like, we're up against it. Like, we're really bad in a bad place. That's no longer the case. That's still all on the table to win your division, get to the playoffs, and flame out. What was the last part?
Saying they're close.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem with DeMeco saying we're close because you got to kind of spoon feed the media positivity and you don't want to throw anybody under the bus. However, DeMeco said some things about CJ after the game that he's never really said before, and he didn't throw him under the bus. This is coming from somebody and other people that cover the team every single day for the last several years with DeMeco, knowing that there is at least a shift in tenor and a shift in what he's saying is that he liked the play call to Nico. It was a good play call, and that the ball was thrown out of bounds. Like, that is a very, it was up to CJ. And he said CJ needs to play better. He also said CJ knows that. So he's not throwing him under the bus. He's telling us what he's telling CJ. And if anybody watches that game and doesn't think that CJ needs to play better, is very sorely mistaken.
I mean, look, I think CJ would tell you he has to play much better.
Not only that, he's played bad. He missed very simple, like Xavier Hutchinson over the middle, wide open, threw the ball 4 yards behind him.
That play is the one that was I think the most jaw-dropping in a bad way. To see him
all
miss,
day.
I mean, where it's wide open, covered over the middle, that throw gets you into the red zone, and the ball is like, for the people watching on YouTube, it's much easier. The ball is here. And Hutchinson's here.
I mean, it was so far behind. He's coming across. The ball was so far behind him, he had no chance. And this is what happens. It compounds. And then it's like, Nick Caley's not calling good plays. Well, not everything was bad, and the offensive line not doing their job. Well, he had 5 seconds to throw that ball and missed it. You can't have a $60 million quarterback or the franchise quarterback where everything has to be perfect. That's not who that is. With all due respect to these guys, that's a Sam Darnold. That's a Geno Smith. Those are guys that bounce around, try to find situations that are really, really good for them, and then they can go be great, like a Brock Purdy or Jimmy Garoppolo. CJ's got to elevate guys. And I talked about this with DJ again, and he said he does elevate guys, and maybe he does from time to time, or he has in the past. He's sure as hell not doing that right now.
I think he did his rookie year.
Yeah, he did.
I think he elevated the Houston Texans.
But how long ago was that now?
That's 2 seasons
exactly.
ago. I mean,
it's unacceptable.
Mina Kimes had a clip going viral a little bit that was talking about making it easier for CJ Stroud. I'm like, okay, at some point, while I understand what she's saying, and I don't disagree with her, I think we were also at the point where going into the season, we were expecting CJ Stroud to help make things easier for everyone else. And that's not what's happening.
Yeah, you want to build around CJ. You don't want to have to get the pieces around CJ so CJ can be better.
Yeah.
Like, you want him to be the elevator, and you build the pieces around him to make them better. Because you're going to have, once you pay him dollars, like you're not going to be able to afford a lot of the talent that you already have, especially on defense. Like there's guys that are going to be asking for a lot of money, deservedly so, and they're not going to be able to get it because of CJ. So, yeah, if you have a $60 million quarterback, you can't make it simple, make it easier. No, you want to go the other way. Like make it more complicated because you can.
It's going to get harder. It's not going to get any easier as he gets paid. And there's a lot of people, like we're taking these calls and we're hearing these texts and you're seeing these messages about people who are, unsure about paying CJ Stroud $60 million. And I think there's still that franchise quarterback in there. Or do you agree with that? Do you still think that he has that capability, or are you starting to waver?
I'm definitely starting to waver.
Yeah.
I don't think he can't, but I definitely don't think he can. Like tell me, CJ.
Yeah.
Like it's not up for me to make that decision. It's up to the player to make that decision for us. It's not up to us to say that's a franchise quarterback and then be wrong. What the hell do we know? What the hell does anybody know? It's up to the player to let Nick Caserio know, I'm your guy. If we're having questions, I promise you, Nick is at least aware that he's playing poorly, which means that he's aware that he's not the guy that maybe we thought he was, or maybe Nick knew all along. The point is, make us say that you're the franchise quarterback. It's not up for us to deem you diddly.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be crowning him again. Like you're seeing.
Yeah, he was crowned freshman year.
Yeah,
his rookie year.
And I think it was deserved. But now it's like you're starting to see, if you look at weekly quarterback power rankings, he's starting to slip. You're looking at weekly grades, he's starting to slip. He's losing the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's very fair for CJ and the entire Texans franchise right now. There is no more benefit of the doubt because they raised the bar, and I think that's what some of the fans are struggling with. They're like, yeah, but he won 2 playoff games. He's done things. It's like, yes, he's done things.
He's been there for 2 playoff wins. Let's pump the brakes on he's won.
You
know what I'm saying?
No,
but this goes to the fans that fight me on this. The defense has won playoff games, and CJ and the offense have been part of it. That's not to say they haven't contributed. They haven't been the reason they've gone out there to win. They haven't won almost anything because of this offense.
Because even the Browns playoff game, it really turned when the offense really got cooking after the Christian Harris pick 6.
Yeah.
That's really when the game started to roll.
The defense sets the tone for that team.
Yeah.
That's what's so concerning.
Yeah, because then the defense isn't, right? So let's get into that a little bit. So the defense, we're not seeing the dominant performance. You're still seeing, Stingley I think he did a good job against a Hall of Fame player in Mike Evans. Mike Evans got him sometimes. There was the one pass breakup where I feel like he could have stepped in front of it and gotten a pick 6, but overall, nothing to complain about Stingley. And Baker, there was some pressure, but none of it was up the middle. And it was leaving these wide open rushing lanes to where he was just taking off on big conversions. The reason why you lost that game in the end is because you had them in a vulnerable position, and he escapes the pocket. He takes off for a first down. It's the specifically the interior defensive line, even though Rankins had 2 sacks in the game, is not
consistent.
It's not up to par.
You can't have flashes in the pan.
Yeah.
Especially early in that game. That game, they were out without 2 tackles. One of their guards, Ben Bredeson, is playing center. It was all shuffled. If we went through that crap here, we would have excuses out the ass for CJ. Baker went out there and went to work, despite any problem. That's the difference between a franchise quarterback or a top 10 quarterback and someone that's not. We can't, dude, it's crazy how much better Baker was than CJ, but forget the comparison. It's crazy what Baker was able to do with a backup line against an elite defense.
Yeah, I mean, not that you expect a player to win every single rep. I think that's unfair to ask of Will Anderson, but I mean, we know that Charlie Heck's not good. And he didn't dominate.
He wasn't good enough to be here.
Exactly.
But he can go there to be good. And then it goes to scheme.
Coaching?
That's what I mean. Yeah, bingo.
Because what if Charlie if Charlie Heck and the Buccaneers week 1 did everything they could to not put Charlie Heck on the field. By the way, they maneuvered things on the offensive line. But if he's getting better coaching there, he looked much better in Tampa Bay than he ever looked in Houston. That is an apples to apples comparison that you can look at with the offensive line. But the defensive line, again, it's troubling. It's that fact that, and specifically more, not even just the Baker running, but what you mentioned at the very beginning of the show, the Bucky Irving running. The fact that he was able to break through any way he wanted to, the missed tackles, the non-competitive tackles. It was all very strange to see that unfolding in real time because that's not what you expect. I think it's fair to expect these struggles on offense. We wanted more from them. We expected more from them, but it's not totally shocking that the offense is struggling. To see the defensive line struggle the way they did is not good.
The push that 68 of the Buccaneers at center got up the middle on the Texans at a position he does not play was absolutely embarrassing. I mean, he was getting to second level or moving the tackle out of the way easily every single time. And then against Azeez Al-Shaair or Henry Toto or Christian Harris, whoever it is, the linebacking core, they were missing tackles. The secondary was missing tackles. Everybody was missing tackles. It's unacceptable. And then I asked CJ Gardner-Johnson, I don't know if you saw this clip.
I did.
After the game, I said, so like what allowed the Buccaneers to have great success against you guys on the ground? He stopped and he looked at me, he goes, you watch the same game I watched? I don't feel like they popped off anything. I was like, okay. Now's not the time to fire back. So then afterwards, he was like, sorry, I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I said, well, they ran 5 yards a pop on you. That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
He goes, they did? I don't know the stats during the game. I'm like, okay. Didn't you know that they were running all over your ass constantly? Like,
yeah.
What do you mean, dude?
Yeah, that wasn't. I when I saw your initial tweet, you tweeted out. I had a big chuckle. I was like, what planet is this guy living on? And he had some moments that were nice, but like you need more from the safety position. That's the other one too, where like the defensive line, like Lassiter was fine. But the safety position in general, I think, is also leaving a lot to be desired, and is also playing well below the expectations that they have set for themselves and that we expect for them.
There's no unit on the defense. There's individuals, like you said, Kamari, okay. There's no one that's popping.
Your two corners are good.
Where's Bullock?
Yeah.
Where's the defensive line allowing them to look good? It's a joint effort. So the defense does not look good. They played good enough. The opposite of good enough is great. Like, they're not great. They're not good. They're just good enough. Is that the expectation?
No, and that's where, like, it's just hard because it's like they give up 34 points in 2 games.
Exactly.
Like,
so they're
like,
playing well enough to win. I don't want that to get lost.
No, but I think the frustrations and what we're discussing are totally fair, and they're probably having similar discussions specifically about the run game. But they've only given up 34 points. Like, it's the offense that is really the guilty party, but the defense is not doing enough to support this team. And it's unfortunate for them, but they have to play at a better level in this moment to win football games.
What if they play like a good team? Just sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Like, what if they played a good team? Like the Ravens, Bills.
Well,
like a team that they want to compete with. What happens then?
Yeah, I mean, that's where, like,
sheesh.
No matter what happens, let's say the Texans go 2-0 the next 2 weeks.
Jaguars, and then who's
the Colts.
Colts, okay.
I'm not going to be able to jump on and be excited
unless they absolutely wreck them.
But even then,
let me say, like I say, you did what you're supposed to do, not only win, but then like you went above and beyond. But I just don't expect that.
Yeah, but like
they're not covering.
We just start 0-2.
They're underdogs.
Yeah, you just started 0-2 against two playoff teams, and then you play the Baltimore Ravens the following week. Like, you can be 2-2 heading into the Ravens game. But like that's where I struggle to think like anything that happens over the next 2 weeks is like really meaningful. We can see signs of encouragement and we better. But I struggle with the idea of like, okay, they're 2-2 going to the Baltimore game, assuming everything's fixed.
You're right. You're 100% right. It's not meaningful. It's essential. Like 2 wins is essential to get where they want to be. They have to get the 2 wins. And then, but it doesn't mean anything because they're taking care of low-hanging fruit in a bad division, which they better if they're a good team. There's going to be a point where you and I might come in here and say, so like, what is DeMeco on the hot seat for real? For real? Nick Caserio on the hot seat? Nick Caley, does he make it through the season? Like, there's going to be those conversations.
Yeah.
If they hit this bye week and they're 0-5, that is not out of the realm of possibilities. They're an underdog on the road in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
If you said that coming into the season, I would have told you someone like a severe injury. CJ's out, Nico got hurt, like something's bad.
Yes.
No, they actually played pretty decent defensively, and they've improved offensively from week 1, and they're an underdog in Jacksonville.
Do you think, because the Nick Caserio conversation started to come up with the fans, I think now, and DeMeco and CJ is popping up too here and there. I think more people are focusing on Nick Caserio. I am too. When you think about the future of this team and having him as the GM, I I think the seat's getting a little warm.
Yeah, do you think whose seat should be hot? Based on what I've seen so far, coaching seat should be hotter than the general managers. Because I think their roster is far better than what they're performing.
Including DeMeco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure, DeMeco.
So, because I think
DeMeco,
yeah.
like if he's the head coach, I'm not saying he should be fired. Hell no. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think this falls on coaching more than roster construction.
My pushback is just the offensive line.
I agree, but what about the defense?
Nick Caserio's done a great job.
Right.
But
it's underperforming.
Yeah, it is underperforming.
CJ's underperforming. Is that Caserio's fault? Because we all kind of thought he was good, and not that like it matters if we all think so. Therefore, he gets a pass. Like the coaching has, I feel like, let down because we see teams beat this team that with lesser rosters, or and this happened when I was covering Carolina. You get close to players, and I don't mean like personally, but you get to know their names and see them perform. And you're like, oh, like Shaq Thompson, really, really good. Well, he kind of got old and got a little washed up late. Maybe the names that we've come familiar with, just because we know them, aren't that good.
I think
that's it.
I think that's very possible, and that's where I think it comes down to whatever happened behind the scenes in the offseason about whose seat is starting to get hotter, and only DeMeco, Nick, and Cal McNair and Hannah McNair know the answer to this question: is why is Nick Caley, why is Cole Popovich, why are they on this coaching staff? If this struggle continues, why are two guys that come from the Patriots tree lineage here that really have no connection to DeMeco Ryans? Now, DeMeco, if it was his idea, then I think he deserves the blame. I struggle with thinking how that's possible. Cole Popovich, maybe. But Nick Caley, that to me, it seems like, okay, DeMeco, you got to hire the first offensive coordinator. It didn't work. Nick Caserio is going to hire the next offensive coordinator. So far through 2 games, it's not working. And then you have the offensive line, and you have the struggles in other parts of this team that are, holding the Texans back, including CJ Stroud. And that's where I think he would be in the front of the line of the hot seat. Because the other complicated part of this, and this is where it was one of my concerns when they hired DeMeco Ryans, is it's really challenging when you hire a beloved player as a head coach. I think we've talked about this before. It raises the pressure on it working. Because think about what it was like before DeMeco. No Andre Johnson, no Travis Johnson. All these guys who've played with this team, no J.J. Watt, guys who were in this organization that didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And as soon as they hired DeMeco, they all were at his press conference. If you fire DeMeco, does the support of your alums go away? Should that matter? No, but I think it does matter to the Houston Texans. I think it does matter that Andre Johnson's not going to want to be in the box potentially next to Cal and Hannah McNair if they get rid of DeMeco. So I think it's a harder position when you put a beloved player as your head coach. Because if you have to fire them, it makes awkward tensions in your organization.
So I don't think you're wrong. It does make it harder. I don't think Hannah McNair gives a damn.
That's good then. Then she's a good owner.
Yeah, I don't think she gives a damn. I don't know that Cal does or doesn't. I just think that when the rubber meets, when you're this close to success in particular, and the owners go out and say that they expect success more this year than last year, and they went to the divisional round last year, now their ass is on the line. Not that it's not, but like they've now put their name on it, their face on it, their quotes and their interviews on it. So they're going to feel the heat. So like it's always going to trickle up. The crap is going to trickle up to them. So they're going to make the moves that they feel are necessary. I just think like, man, I think that they both hired Nick Caley. I genuinely believe that they've worked pretty well in concert. I could be completely wrong, and they could be, pulled this whole thing over my face. But the way they talk and the way they communicate about each other, it feels right.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
and I will say in general, I do believe just as a philosophy in the NFL, I do think it's a mistake to keep one without the other. I really think the best organizations that when they do have to go through a transitional period do make a clean house transition. So I do think that for me, when you talk about, is someone on the hot seat versus someone else, I think in a perfect world, you would be in lockstep, the good and the bad. If Nick is out, then I think it probably should include everybody, and you should have a franchise reset. I don't think we're close to that right now. And I don't think even missing the playoffs this year really gets you to that point. Now,
no way.
Nick Caley.
Wait.
I think Nick Caley.
You think if they miss the playoffs, which would mean a most of 9 wins?
Yeah. I think Nick Caley would be out. I think they would go in a different direction with the offense again, which would be scary. I think they would have to maybe they would say,
CJ.
We're learning our mistake from not having a person who's called plays before.
That's what I don't understand.
And
This
so,
was a win now season.
Yes.
This is win now for the Texans, and they went with an unproven guy. We've talked about this before, but I never got that. That's nothing against Nick. That's just not. This isn't the team for a guy that hasn't done it before.
Do you think there's any chance? Is there? This would be very drastic by the Texans, but is there any chance Nick Caley doesn't make it through the season?
Yes, if it's that bad, and whoever is making that decision is feeling the heat. Like, if they have to make the decision because it's their ass if they don't make the decision. Therefore, but this is another thing that my problem is, like, they didn't bring anyone in underneath him to, one, mentor him to prevent this from happening, but two, that if it did happen and they had to get rid of Nick, then who's taking over?
Bill Lazor. I think that's the most.
But he didn't last year.
I know, but I think it's the most obvious candidate because I don't think you replace Nick Caley if we got to that point. Which again, I don't think we're not close to that yet. It's only 2 games. But if you got to that point and you had to make an in-season change, you're not going to Gerard Johnson to just put another first-time play caller in there. And look, this is going to be a very low bar. I'm going to recognize that as someone that is also a Bears fan.
Your team sucks.
They suck.
Is so bad.
But the best season Jay Cutler ever had, the best season Jay Cutler ever had, was with Bill Lazor as his offensive coordinator. Now, I was not particularly a fan of Bill Lazor.
I'll say everyone hated that offense.
I know, but it was the best season that Jay Cutler ever had, and at least he's called plays in the NFL before. So, like, if you were going to go down that path, you do at least have one guy on your roster and your coaching staff that could step in and call plays. He's your senior offensive assistant, whatever that job title means. I don't really know.
Apparently it doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a great question.
He was under Bobby, and the Bobby couldn't figure it out with Bill.
Yeah.
Like, there was no move to get rid of Bobby mid-season in order to have Bill in there. I don't know that Bill even got a nod, or even, I don't know that Bill even wants to be an OC.
I think he got an interview, technically. I think when you look back at the reporting, because of the Rooney rules, I think he was included in one of the interview process. But
is that in play for Rooney rule for coordinators?
Yeah, it's for one. It's a one minority candidate.
I know it's high coaching. Is that?
Yeah, it's for the coordinators as well. Okay. So that's why it has to be. I think that's why it's all public. So you do have that option, but I think it goes back to the Cole Popovich. Like, I'm not to now trash Bill Lazor because I don't really know what his job is with the Texans, but like, it's the same faces, and that's why the frustration with the Texans offense is all fair. Because outside of Nick Caley, it's everyone's the same. Nothing else changed. You shuffled your offensive line. You brought in some new receivers that maybe will make their debut in week 3. But for the most part, it's the same pieces on offense and it's the same struggles.
It's the same. I hate saying same old problems from last year to this year because it's not like it's completely different teams. Like when you try to repeat, you're not really repeating. It's like CJ Gardner-Johnson kind of mentioned that, although he's on a new team now. Like guys retire, guys leave. Everything changes. So much changes year to year. It's a very different team. It's just the same crap. So it's the same issues. So that means it goes up to DeMeco, or Nick, or it goes somewhere higher than the pawns, if you will, of doing what you're asked to do or told to do. And I don't know. And to be palms up week 2 is an insane place to be. And I'm more palms up, honestly, with the defense than I am with the offense.
Yeah, because the defense just, again, I think it's the expectations and just what we've seen. They've been way better than this.
Yeah, if I had a scale 1 to 10 on what I expected on the offense, I probably expected them to be about a 5. And they're a 3. Like, okay. I expect this defense to be an 8 or 9, maybe to a 10 with the help of the offense, and they're like a 6 or 7. And the gap is so big, especially when the other side isn't helping you much. It's just, and they're not. We said Will Anderson's got to make splash plays, game-wrecking plays. Forget about that. Let's get sacks now. Like, we've now started to change our expectations for everybody all over the board on the 53.
And the thing is like you got those game-wrecking plays.
You got the block punt.
You got the block punt. You got the big return from Jalen Noel. Like Frank Ross.
Shout out Frank Ross, my man, doing his part.
He's the best special teams coordinator in the NFL, maybe. But like what they got in the game, like they were given the recipe for success. But like, I mean, you look back through this game and like in the first half there, like, or I guess
no turnovers, right?
No turnovers.
All right, so no turnovers.
Oh no, they got. I know Baker fumbled, but now I don't remember.
No. The Buccaneers recovered that.
Oh yeah.
That was I forget who it was, but hurt his shoulder, I believe, on it. But anyway, you get a 53-yard return, you get a block punt, and you lose.
Well, I mean,
those are game-wrecking, changing plays. All it did was keep you alive.
Yeah.
That's not good. Those plays can't keep you alive. That's what happens when you let a bad team hang around. Those are the type of plays you look at with the Browns or formerly the Jaguars or the Titans, where you're like, man, they blocked a punt. We let them hang around. That's the stuff we can't do against bad teams. Is that what the Buccaneers are saying about the Texans?
I mean, this game to me really comes down to this stretch. So the third defensive possession of the second half is when the Buccaneers have the doink, and then that's immediately followed up by the red zone plays that we went after. That's immediately then followed up.
That was 34 yards they had to gain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they get down to the 1, they have the 3 plays at the 1-yard line. They don't score. Then that is immediately followed up by the block punt. But then again,
25 yards they had to go after that.
And they only got a field goal.
Yeah.
So you have 2 opportunities to score a touchdown
on short fields.
And you get 3 points out of it. And I don't think I think the revisionist history of they should have taken the points at in the red zone. I totally disagree with that.
I don't have a problem going for it.
Yeah, no, you're an NFL offense. You're on the 1-yard line. Go for it.
Especially the way you're struggling to score touchdowns. Yeah. You're an inch away. Go for that. Especially if you still think your defense is good.
And then people are making the false correlation of well, they went for on 4th and 1, they didn't get, but then they blocked the punt. So if they would have taken,
they didn't give up points on the return of the failed. The Bucks didn't score a 99-yard drive.
No, that's the block punt.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's you got the block punt, and then
then you had it again,
and then
you still couldn't.
And then you got field goal. So that's ultimately where the game is lost. And again, the defense needs to do a better job. The missed tackling. That's the only thing we haven't really hit on that you mentioned. That's shocking. And I think Henry To'oTo'o had some nice plays in this game, but that's a lot of missed tackles. And
Azeez missed tackle this.
Yeah.
I tweeted this and I said it in a video on YouTube as well on my channel, that this is an extremely physical team. The Buccaneers woke up Tuesday and said, damn, we are sore. We played the Texans. That is a badass defense physically. But for a physical team, they miss way too many tackles. You can't miss that many tackles and just be a physical team. You can't throw your body into guys. That's not the goal. The goal is to bring them to the ground. Wrap up. Bring them down. I don't know how you coach that in the NFL to this point with all the CBA rules. These guys are grown-ass men. You should have learned this stuff a long time ago. And they were not particularly great tacklers last year. Mm-hmm. They were better than what we saw against the Buccaneers, and I expect them to be better, especially after being embarrassed in their tackling world. But that's got to change.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see any changes defensively this week. I think EJ Speed played 4 plays on defense the entire game, so I wonder if we'll see maybe more of him, less of Henry To'oTo'o this weekend, as kind of a wake-up call. Because I do think that's where I would like to see the Texans do some of that stuff. Where, Christian Kirk and Barrios will be back, it seems like. But I also don't want to see Noel not returning kicks. He was awesome.
Yeah, what's Braxton's role going to be?
Yeah, so I don't really know what his role is. But you have Christian Kirk back this weekend, it sounds like. And I say sounds like because while they said he's back, I'll believe it when my eyes see it. It's just he is an injury history.
But that's not the problem. It's
not the problem.
Yeah, that's what's scary. This team is healthy. The Texans are healthy, and they're not playing good football. Look at the injury report around the NFL. See the guys that are hurt for certain teams and see how they're still playing. The Buccaneers, their whole offensive line dinged up. The Texans don't have an injury issue right now. Mm-hmm. If you're losing games because Christian Kirk is out, all due respect to Christian, good player, that's not a sign of a good team.
No, well, I think a lot of people are frustrated with the snap count and just seeing Watson, who's now hurt, getting out-snapping, Higgins and out-snapping Noel, and those guys are barely out there.
But he was yawning in the end zone, and CJ missed him.
I know, he was, yeah.
It's not his fault.
No, he was open. But I think it's
that's the thing.
It adds to the frustration of you drafted these 2 rookies, and neither of them are really making a huge impact on the offense. One's making an impact on special teams.
But they wouldn't make honestly, do you think those Higgins or Noel would make an impact if Simmons is wide open in the end zone?
No.
What are they going to do? Be more wide open?
Yeah, no.
He's wide open and CJ misses. CJ's missing any receiver that you put out there.
Yeah, it's more on CJ than it is.
100%.
Yeah.
Or it's on the play calling and the play design. And just to be nice, what a beautiful ball to Nico Collins and catch.
Oh, the first try was incredible.
We're back! We're back.
I mean, like, first drive, I was like, wow. I was like, maybe week 1 was week 1. And then by the end of the game, I was like, oh, never mind. Week 1 was also week 2. Loudest I've ever heard booing at a Houston sporting event. You've been to more games than I have, I would imagine, as your time covering all the local teams here. It was loud.
It was intentional. Like, that was the difference. I thought, like last year, the offense definitely got some boos, but it was like frustrated boos. This was like, we're frustrated, we're mad, and we know exactly why. It's at you. Like, it was pointed, and it was a lot deeper. It was a lot deeper of a boo.
Yeah, after the 4th and 1 miss, a large boo. After the field goal, after the blocked punt, a huge boo. Like, yeah, it was. The fans looked well educated.
Yeah, the 3 and outs are what pissed the fans off. The inability to move. Like, even there was some booing on, I think it was 1st and 10, run right up the middle after the block punt, and there was some boos. You just listen, man. The fans are well aware of what's going on or what's not going on offensively, and it's pissing everybody off because you're sold a bag of goods, and maybe that's our fault. Maybe we bought in to what the players are saying. Maybe we think the players are better than what they actually are, and we've told everybody 10 wins, AFC South champ, like nothing's handed to you. Maybe we thought like they were good enough, and they're just not.
Texans 1.5-point underdogs this weekend against Jacksonville, so we'll wrap up here then. Texans get their first win of the season this weekend. I think the answer is yes, because Trevor Lawrence still is missing everything. I mean, he's missing Brian Thomas Jr. left and right. Now, Travis Etienne's looked much better, but like we haven't seen the Liam Cohen effect really work out for Trevor Lawrence through 2 games. He's been okay. I think he's been very similar to CJ, honestly. So the Texans are 1.5-point underdogs this weekend against Jacksonville. Are they going to get their first win of the season this weekend?
Yes. If not, I'm picking against them every single week from here on out. There is no reason that I think that they should win any game if they can't win a game when they're 0-2 against a team that we think that they're better than. Yes, the Jaguars are better than what they've been in the past, but Vegas thinks they're going to lose. So I'm picking against the people that have made billions of dollars on doing this.
Yeah.
So I'm hardly like, oh yeah, for sure. I'll say yes. But it's going to be the last time I say yes if they lose.
I think that's fair until they play Tennessee if they lose.
And even then, like,
I won't pick them to cover.
Let's see how they are.
Yeah, I won't pick them to cover.
Good teams win, great teams cover. They're sure as hell ain't covering.
Well, they're not winning, so you can't cover if you don't win.
Exactly. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, it's been a dreadful start to the season, to say the least, for the Houston Texans. They're 0-2, but we're here for you every single week right here on the ESPN Houston YouTube channel. Plus, you can catch the radio version of the show on Thursdays at 6 o'clock. Will, where can they find you? What's coming up on the podcast?
6 p.m., right?
6 p.m.
Whew. About to say.
Not a.m.
John Lance would be pissed if we were there.
No, they don't go on. Oh, yeah, that's true. They would be.
Find me on YouTube, Kicking It with Kunkel. Find me on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Just type in Kunkel, Kunkel. But subscribe to Kicking It with Kunkel.
All right, you can catch me every day at 3 to 6 with Jeremy and Joe on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Thank you guys for watching. This episode has been brought to you by Blue Star Tequila.
If they lose next week, these are going to be empty.
We're drinking on air next week.
These will be empty.
You can find it near you at bluestartequila.com at plenty of liquor stores and bars. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully the Texans get their first win of the season this weekend.
Do you believe that they will?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think they will.
I hope so.
And we'll end on that note. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Peace.